Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and today it is time for a professional match of Zerg versus Protoss, and we find ourselves on Turbo Cruise 84. Spawning here in the bottom left hand corner, playing with the red Zerg drones. He's from Poland, and he goes by the name of Elazer. His opponent in the opposite corner playing with the blue Protoss probes. From South Korea, we're looking inside of the main base of Zest. Alrighty. Now, I gotta be honest with you, this is a game that's a bit of a question mark for me as well. So I just found a notation on my phone that Game 2 between Elazer and Zest from Home Story Cup 19 is amazing. It's just that I don't remember this game whatsoever. Maybe that's because I was a little bit sleep deprived, or maybe I had a little bit too many alcoholic beverages. I'm not entirely sure, but while this game was being played on the mainstream, I must have been either eating or maybe playing some poker or something along those lines, because I do not remember it whatsoever. So let's just hope that past Lowko, right, at the very least, made the correct judgment call. And let's hope that I wrote down the correct game here as well. Anyways, of course, Zest and Elazer are going to be awesome players to watch play SC2 anyways. As of me making this video, I mean, I did a game of Zest actually a couple days back as well, but as of me making this video, Zest is the current rank 12 on Aligulek in the world, and Elazer is currently the rank 28. So both of these players certainly very good in their respective races. Elazer is one of those Zerg players who I feel like he's been getting overshadowed a little bit. So if you would have asked me a year or two ago, I certainly would have put Elazer as the second best Zerg in Europe outside of Serral. I mean, Serral is head and shoulders above the rest right now, but over the last year, really over like the last half year to maybe the full year, I feel like Elazer has been getting overshadowed by, for example, Raynor, by, for example, Lambo, who's been killing it, especially recently. And he's been having a bit of a tougher time lately. Now, that's not to say, of course, that he's going to be a weak player here whatsoever. But Zest is one of those opponents who is very, very difficult to beat. Zest actually at Home Story Cup showcased some ridiculous micro once again, which is what really set him apart a couple of years ago. And once again, Zest seems to be absolutely on point. So I'm excited to figure out what this game is all about. The late warp gate research right there, which kind of indicates to me that it's likely going to be a Stargate. Yep, there we go. Usually if you want to go for the Twilight Council or the robotics facility, you start up the warp gate upgrade immediately. Now obviously Elazer knows this. He's looking at this as well, and he knows right now that the upgrade has been delayed. So he's probably already assuming that this is going to be at the very least some sort of Stargate play. One of the builds that a lot of the pros have been going for lately, after Stargate sort of fell out of style for about a half year or so, but one of the builds that the pros have been going for lately is triple Oracle with one Phoenix Harass. It's sort of like the new flavor of the month. I mean, a lot of pros were playing just that Dark Templar into Archon drop for a little while, and nowadays it's once again popular to go for multiple Stargate units as well. So we'll see where this one is going to go. Now, the Adepts are shading forward. Oh, nice catch right there, actually, by that Queen, blocking the walking right there of those Adepts, and one of them gets picked up for free. Now, good defense right here for Elazer, not losing a single drone, and of course, I say that, and the drone falls immediately. A little bit sloppy right there by Elazer, because of course that Adept wasn't supposed to get any kills. If he would have just simply lost the circlings, I think that would have been much better already, but a drone, of course, is very manageable. The thing is, Protoss players have become extremely efficient when it comes to dealing with that. And by the way, there we go, another Oracle, so it might be that triple Oracle opener. But Protoss players have become extremely efficient when it comes to dealing damage, right? They kind of need to as well. Damage can be done in a couple of different ways. Either you force Zerg to make a lot of units, so you slow down their worker count, which is already enough in most situations, or you just simply kill the workers that they did produce. If Zerg is completely left alone in the earlier stages of the Protoss versus Zerg matchup, they are just simply going to produce non-stop workers, and therefore their army in the mid-game is going to be significantly bigger as well. So it's up to Zest right here to try and slow it down. We do have that robotics facility right now coming up as well, so he's going to be able to go for some continued harass here in a little bit. It's actually only going to be 2 Oracles here for the time being. So we'll see if maybe he wants to add one on here in a little bit. There's already a Spore Crawler, though, and a Queen awaiting, so I've got a feeling that these Oracles are not going to be able to get that much done. They're trying to hunt down the Queen, curiously enough, but there you go. He's going after a couple drones. Nicely done there. A little bit of a slow response time, and, well, perfect. Oh, my God. Dude, this is what I'm saying, right? Look at that control! Oh, Zest. I'm a Zerg player at heart, but that was beautiful. He got the queen, he got himself 5 drones there as well with some beautiful splitting. And now we see a stasis ward going up as well. Ooh, mostly just trying to test the waters here. Only 1 drone there gets stasis, but that's a lot of lost mining time there regardless. Alrighty, so, ooh, would you look at that? Zest actually ended up warping in 4 sentries here. He's now chrono boosting out. Oh, is he gonna go for the old school ramp block? I mean, this used to be a build back in the day, right? Where Protoss players would drop sentries on top of the ramp and then force field the Zerg out of their own main. Which essentially meant that they're gonna have a very hard time dealing with any kind of pressure. Now, it looks like there is gonna be that big warp in right here. And indeed, well, the sentries showed themselves. The Zergling scouted it too. Question is, though, is there going to be enough? Normally, against Stargate openers, you can play really, really greedy. That's exactly what Elazer has been doing here. Normally, we don't see a lot of follow-up pressure, but these sentries and just these straight-up gateway units, right, might actually provide a lot of value. Now, queens are waiting. Roaches are currently birthing here as well out of those eggs. We see a spine crawler coming up, but Elazer, okay, he recognized the scenario. He's just simply abandoning that natural altogether. Once again, by the way, the Oracle went back in and tried to put down a stasis ward here as well. But with a very unorthodox push, Elazer is actually in a lot of trouble here as Zest is trying to get some work done right there on that 3rd hatchery. Great force fields, picking up the weakened sentries, trying to prevent this really from dealing a lot of damage. One of the queens taking a bunch of hurt there as well, but I think eventually, well, with more and more reinforcements spawning, I think Elazer should be able to hold on, although I say that, and the control right here on that prism is insane. Oh, well, eventually it gets picked up, and I think with those reinforcements now denied, Elazer should be able to eventually clean this up. But this is such a cool push, right? Not something that we normally see Protoss players do, not something that we normally see Protoss players go for. Going for double Oracle into, how many gateways was that? Okay, that was a lot of gateways. He's got 8 here in total, I think. Oh, no, it's actually 9. Wow, he's got 9 of them in total. And, well, apparently he's actually also busy zapping away right there at a couple more of those drones, as this Oracle actually picks up 19 kills in total. And this is what I mean. When you're trying to... Oh my god, there's another one here as well, of course. When you try to pinpoint what makes Zest really good, right? It's one of those things that's very hard to say. Zest, for example, sometimes likes to go for like 2 bases, 8 gateways, and then play defensively and eventually grab a 3rd. Normally, we see Protoss players taking a 3rd base at 5 minutes. Right now, we're 7.5 minutes into this game, and Zest is still showing us exactly how long you can stay on 2 bases for. That's, I feel like, his biggest weakness right now, though. It's very difficult to transition on later. I mean, the main is gonna run low on resources here in a little bit. So finally, we do see that base coming up. These oracles, by the way, man. Oh my god, are they providing much value. Now, a stalker drop right here in the natural. Continuing the worker harass. Gets a drone, picks up, and gets on out of there again. 29 workers have gone down so far. Zest, giving us a masterclass on how to deal with this kind of thing. Oh man, top level Protoss players really do make some of these units look so broken, right? You kidding me? Like, you try... Okay, so here's the thing. When you try and do this, right? When you try and fly in oracles and you try and do these splits and the tricks and whatnot, I would have lost both of them ages ago and I probably would have killed 1 queen and then 2 drones. That would have been my goal, right? That would have been what I would have been able to get done. But this is just the damage that's starting to add on really, really, really badly. And that prism also just providing so much value here for the Protoss. So sick. Alrighty, so while this is going on though, right? Elazer, yeah, he did take a lot of damage. He lost 30 drones here, but Protoss delayed their 3rd base for an extremely long time, and Zest never really made a lot of additional probes. He's finally adding on some additional ones once again, but worker-wise, Elazer is actually not in a bad spot. He took the losses like a champ. He's like, you know what? If you're gonna deal that much damage on 2 bases, I know you can only support about 44 workers, which is enough for 2 mineral lines and then 4 gases. So if you're only gonna be on 44 workers, as long as I have more than the maximum you have, I should be okay. And I think he's correctly assessing that. Glio Reconstitution here is finishing up, which is the Roach speed upgrade. Already though, we see charge slots coming up here for Zest, and he's also going for the High Templar. Plus, he's got those Immortals that he has been chrono boosting out here for a little while. Do you think these Oracles are gonna fall? Oh my god, no, no way! Did you see that once again? Gets 2 drones! Oh my god. Dirty, dirty play, man. You kidding me? So wait, they've got 8 and... They've got 29 kills between the 2 of them. I did math in a YouTube video, guys. That's a risk. You don't do math in a YouTube video, but man, has Zest been killing it so far. Alright, so it's gonna be Roach Ravager Swarmos right here for Elazer. Now, he's completely maxed out. Don't let that army supply count deceive you. It's very easy to look at this and think, okay, Elazer's very far ahead. The thing is, Roaches, Ravagers, and Swarm Hosts are extremely good, but they're very, very supply heavy as well. Now, I like this. The Swarmos were used defensively, and a couple of Roaches were sent across the map, now forcing that recall right here on most of that Protoss army. And it looks like the Roaches on this map are going to be able to get away there as well because of those slowing bubbles, at least the majority of them. Some of them did get hit right there by the force field, but Elazer manages to push back that Protoss army by just simply getting a little bit aggressive himself. And he's actually adding on a lot of Swarmos, going up to the maximum of 14 here in a little bit. We see the Nydus network coming up here too, so maybe he wants to go for some Nydus Swarm Host aggression, which is actually really scary. If you put down like one Nydus over here and then one over there, you can basically hit the Protoss at so many angles so quickly, they have a hard time catching up to what's going on. A nice push right here as well, picking up 2 Immortals and that Archon too. That's absolutely humongous. There come the Locusts as well, although they're going to be flying through that bubble, which means obviously they're going to be slowed down. So I guess half their lifespan is going to be gone by the time they land, but still, a couple of them do land, and that is a lot of damage that once again they managed to deal. Nicely done. Man, guys, I missed it, but the Oracles are gone. They're no longer on the units tab right here. F to provide your respects, okay? That's it's a little bit sad, but they've certainly been worth their weight in gold. Now, this is a bit of a weird unit composition, though, for Zerg, right? It's very, very powerful, but if Protoss manages to go up to, say, 160 or so supply in total, they're going to be able to just simply overwhelm it. This is a unit composition for Protoss that is very, very, very difficult to beat. But as long as they manage to stay alive and slowly build up their unit composition, usually they end up being fine. Now, all of the Locusts, by the way, were sent right there towards that Nexus, and I think if he targets the Nexus, he's going to be able to pick it up as well, but I think he's busy right here, microing against that big Protoss army, but there we go. The Locust did retarget, and the Nexus falls, and that means that all of a sudden Zest is finding himself on 2 bases, and 2 of those bases are pretty much all mined out, which is not ideal. So that means that Zest right now is forced to push forward. The Locust, obviously, currently on cooldown. There's a couple of Dark Templar here as well. Once again, man, I've been complimenting his micro a lot, but he's lost a couple of Immortals and then a few of those Archons for pretty much free as well. Oh, I like this. The Dark Templar, though, being extremely useful here. There's not a lot of detection available. A couple of these Overseers are currently morphing forward. Or morphing in, rather, but the Locusts are moving forward, and they're trying to chase down this army. Once again, a few of these Immortals looking a little bit exposed. One of the sentries falls, but I think all things considered, this should be more than fine. The Locusts land, but there we go. They are already out of their lifespan. Their cooldown is pretty long. You're not going to be able to keep them up all the time, but at the very least, Elazer is making use of the units that he's got, right? I kind of feel like Zest needs to go back and just maybe push back some of the creep, but not lose any army. Like, losing army right now is very painful. I really think that if Protoss manages to go up to, like I was saying earlier, right? Like 160 or so supply, the Locusts are just simply much, much easier to deal with. I think what he's trying to do, though, yeah, is keep that Zerg player pinned back. But here we go. We see that big Swarm Host mass moving across the map, using the Nydus Worm there. And they just popped into that Nydus Worm, moved across, and got a lot of kills here on the other side of the map. In the meantime, though, that Protoss army moved towards the base right here on the left-hand side of the map. He managed to actually do a lot of damage. Once again, the Immortals are exposed right there. The sentries are being picked off as well. Dark Templar providing a lot of additional damage for this army composition as well. Okay, finally, the Immortals are getting some aid here, using that Warp Prism. Big blink forward right there to try and dodge those corrosive biles. Elazer trying to make the best of this situation, but I feel like Zest has been microing extremely well here, right? My God, has he been doing that extremely well. Now, a big warp in here. Once again, gonna add on additional Stalkers. And while the Locusts are gonna be able to, at the very least, force back this Protoss army here for the time being, Zest has loaded up the Immortals inside of that plane. And he's gonna start dealing some more damage here inside of the main base of the Zerg. Since there's, like, no anti-air available, right? He's gonna be able to juggle these for all of eternity. At the same time, though, the Protoss army. My God, how is he microing this? I mean, how many screens does he have? Do you think he's got multiple screens? He's playing with his feet on one monitor? I don't know how he does this. Microing the Immortals right there inside of the Prism, and then also blinking around right here with that Protoss army. Extreme multitasking right here from Zest. Trying to make the most of it. My God, the micro! Oh my God. So beautiful. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that he gave away, like, I don't know, how many immortals have gone down? I feel like 4 of those immortals and then 2 of those archons probably were given away for free. If it wasn't for those, he would have been absolutely dominating here, right? Elazer, though, once again, getting a worm across the map. This one is unscouted, and the Locust, here we go, they should be able to pop out of that Nydus worm as well. Still, though, it's hard to make that decision. The Stalkers are continuously pressing forward here, which makes it very difficult to get that decision to warp in those, or to send in rather those Locust waves. Good little bit of control right there from Elazer, though, not making them all pop down right there on those couple of Zealots. But the Stalkers right here, and then those Immortals, right, they're sort of forcing the Zerg player to stay at home and to not really utilize all of the Locusts here on the other side of the map. A couple of Stalkers were warped in. I think they're going to try and see if they can go after that Nydus worm and prevent additional ones from spawning here for the time being. Prism looks like it was picked off, but already we did see that recall bringing those 2 bad boys back home, and 16 and 23 kills between the 2 of them. Nydus worm, though, going up inside of the main base here. Elazer did get one of those changelings into the main base here of Protoss, so that means that the Locusts are going to be able to go right through the Nydus canal into the main base here of the Protoss player. Still, though, the multitasking right here from Zest is absolutely taxing on Elazer, who finally activates the Locust wave, and it looks like he will be able to pick up that 3rd base here as well. At the same time, though, Protoss is now making his way through the center section here of the map. The Stalker is actually picking up a lot of those Ravagers here on the site, and that's really critical. Ravagers off creep have a hard time dealing with those Stalkers. The amount of damage and the amount of multitasking that Zest is displaying here is absolutely ridiculous. Yes, there's a worm inside of the main base. Yes, he lost the 3rd base as well, but he's getting so much value out of the units that he does have. Thing is, though, those Dark Templar right here, they're adding on a lot of damage. Looks like the Nydus network will also fall, meaning that there's no way to move across the map right now. Looks like the Ravagers were picked off right here on the right-hand side as well. Locusts, once again, have a couple of these, or foremost, rather, have a couple of these Locusts available. Elazer's trying to stabilize, right? He's trying to make the best of this scenario. 3rd base, once again, reacquired here by Zest, who's desperate for resources now. Main base run out. Natural, running extremely low. 3rd is really his main lifeline, but he doesn't have a lot of workers anymore because the Swarmos have been killing it left and right. Actually, killing that network there is huge. Otherwise, I think that maybe the worm in the main base could have been a disaster here for a little while longer. Zest, though, continues the harassment right here, using those Dark Templar, really trying to get the most of these units that he's got. I mean, the micro here has been ridiculous. Oh my god, I love it so much. Did you see that? Forcing those Locusts to land and then blinking backwards. That is so sick. That is one way, I guess, to deal with all of those swarm hosts as well. But here we go. The Locusts are on the hunt. If they can get these Immortals, that would be a disaster. Yeah, look, they're trying to get it. Oh, the Immortals using their couple of feet, all 4 of them, to try and run around. Stalkers, though, in the meantime, right here in the center as well, trying to do the exact same thing. The Immortals stop walking! Oh, and that means one of them will indeed end up falling there. Zest is on a timer. If more and more of these Locust Wave go off, he's gonna start taking more and more damage, right? So he did manage to secure that 3rd. That's huge. Neither player really wanting to add on any additional workers here. What a sick game. I'm glad that past Lowko was correct. This game is insane. Oh. Man. Zest is a difficult opponent to play, isn't he? The thing is, for Zerg, a lot of these units are not very microable, whereas for Protoss, you can get so much value if your army control is good out of the units that are set up over here, right? I mean, yeah, you can attack move with the Roaches and Ravages and choose where the Corrosive Bowels land, but it's more proactive, I suppose, whereas Zest manages to control his army reactively right here. Now, I do love this here from Elazer. He's been doing this all the time, where he splits up his Locusts into different waves. So right here, once again, a couple of Locusts going for that 3rd Nexus. And if this Nexus falls, he's in so much trouble. Protoss is completely out of money. The Natural barely has any mining. He just warped in a big round of Stalkers here, which means that that Nexus is not going to be able to be reacquired either. Great defense right here, this time around by Elazer, keeping that 3rd of his alive. He doesn't have a lot of mining here himself anymore either, though. Only a handful of workers really remain. That Immortal, extremely valuable. You know what? I would love to see a Prism. I feel like a prism is one of the things that's extremely good, although here we go. Zerg apparently set up a bit of a sandwich right here in the top left-hand corner of the map. Still though, while the Immortals and these Stalkers are in trouble, we see another big Stalker ball right here at the bottom section of the map. Zest blinks forward right here with those Stalkers, trying to get as much value as possible with the Locusts. We're already waiting for him. The Immortals fell, a couple of the Stalkers did stay alive, but this is still a bit of a disaster right now, I feel like, for Zest, right? I mean, he's got a lot of Stalkers in a dream, right? He's got 19 Stalkers in a dream. They are extremely good. They're just not very strong when it comes to fighting Locust, right? They're good at avoiding Locust, but not for fighting them. Still though, fighting Roach Ravager off creep with good control, with good blink micro, he picks up a couple of them at a time and then backs up once again. Guys, both players are mining out their bases. Yes, the natural is pretty much as good as gone right here for Zest. I mean, other than a little bit of Vespian gas. This is now long distance mining. Zest is waiting for that as well. He's got that one Dark Templar sleeping on the job. At the same time, though, the Stalker's trying to get some value. And they blink out of that circle immediately once again. Elazer, though, looking a little bit more desperate right now, right? He's running out of money on the third. And these Stalkers, look at them. Every time, they get like a couple of units. And then they back up. Now, that was nice. One of the Stalkers there did end up falling. Big Swarm Host wave, though, was activated for that as well. Still, no third Nexus has been acquired. I think Zest is currently saving up for that. His supply count is not nearly as good. Oh my god, what are you... I thought he accidentally lost control there, but he actually forced those corrosive biles. Now on the friendly units there of Elazer, who ended up buying a lot more of his own units there. What seemed to be a disaster there for Zest turned out to actually be pretty good, I think, right? He couldn't have anticipated that, but still pretty ridiculous. So he does have the money right now to start up a third Nexus. I think he probably should. My god, this one Dark Templar as well, dealing so much damage, going after those drones, preventing the long distance mining right here on the left-hand side. Zest, though, very busy microing his units, gets himself another one of those swarm hosts, and he backs up once again. You know what? I thought he was going to start up a Nexus. Okay, he is. He's actually trying to construct it in a bit of a cheeky position. I like that. Not going for the more obvious third base, instead going for the one that's a little bit further out. This is unlikely to be scouted as long as these Stalkers are at the bottom section, right? Because not a single Zerg player is going to send his units off creep against this many Stalkers. What a ridiculous game. So Elazer very far ahead right now when it comes to the supply count. It's just that he hasn't really been able to make a lot of use of that supply in quite some time. One Dark Templar right here, patrolling back and forth, preventing Zerg from getting bases on the right-hand side of the map. At the same time, we had that one Dark Templar in the, or I guess right here on the left-hand side of the map as well, preventing that base from ever going up. And that right now means that Elazer finally secures a base, but he's running dangerously low on money. Zest, though, is going to finish up this Nexus here in just a little bit. Still being extremely active right here with these Stalkers. Some people ask, Lowko, who's your favorite Protoss player? It's like hard to say, right? I'm a big fan of just the super heavy macro guys. Like, for example, Stats, like, for example, Showtime. I love watching them play, but Zest, man. The flexibility that he's got in his units, right? It's insane. Picking up so many units, and there we go. He actually recalls, but not all of them. That's actually a bit of a mistake. By the way, he has been very busy running around this Zerg army, and he did manage to pick up quite a few of those. This is nice, by the way, for Zerg here. But he managed to pick up quite a few of those Overseers too. I don't really know exactly how much detection there currently is available. There's actually not a single one. No, there's not a single one. Oh my god, there's actually a Dark Templar right here on top of those on top of those Swarmos, rather. The Locusts are trying to fly forward as well. Still, that one Stalker here on the left-hand side being extremely solid. Oh my god, how is he microing all of this? Dude, that is so difficult. I actually think targeting the Cybercore at this point is better. Targeting the Cybercore here would prevent Zest from warping in Stalkers. He would then only be allowed to warp in any of those Zealots, I suppose. Both players, though, running very low on economy, but they're now securing new bases. So the hatchery on the left-hand side has been acquired. Zest also got himself that base here on the right. Still, though, I think that one Dark Templar, yeah, it probably killed, like, I don't know, 4 or so of those swarm hosts. Now, apparently, the Stalkers come back with a friend in the Observer as well. They're picking this up, but I still don't know who's winning this, though. Once again, gets himself a Ravager. The Locusts get activated, but that's mostly like, hey, get off my lawn kind of Locust, you know what I mean? Like, these locusts are not really here to get any damage done. He's not assuming he would be able to get any damage done here either. He's just kind of trying to force these stalkers to back up. Alright, so he got himself 2 groups of stalkers once again. Engaging from several different angles. I think he's just trying to snipe whatever he can. There we go. Ooh, almost got himself a swarm host. Almost got himself a ravager too. But here we go. Once again, he's pressuring from multiple angles, right? Trying to pick up whatever he can, then blink out again. Oh, trying to go after the overseers. Manages to get one of them as well. Once again, the stalkers there on the right-hand side are running around as well. And Zest, man, abusing the mobilities of his, or the ability of, or the maneuverability right here of these units like an absolute champ. Oh my god. Zest, dealing so much damage. First off, with these 2 oracles, right? The micro on those was absolutely phenomenal. Then that immortal follow-up as well. Really extremely well done. Juggling those immortals while simultaneously running around with that stalker army. And then here in the end, positioning his Dark Templars in the correct spots, microing those stalkers. I mean, what an incredible display of skill right here by our South Korean Protoss. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I mean, I can't imagine you didn't. If you made it all the way until the end of this video, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you like to watch my videos, but you aren't currently subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button as well so you get notifications as soon as I upload more. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile alright, and I will see you once again in the next one.